You wake up on an ordinary morning, switch on the bathroom light, and meet your reflection. It is not the extra silver strand that draws your eye, nor the faint line near the corner of your smile. What truly stands out is the quiet feeling that your body does not respond quite as easily as it used to. The stairwell felt a little longer yesterday. Hunger behaved strangely after lunch. Your memory stumbled for a second on a word that once came effortlessly. At your last checkup, the doctor said your numbers were not terrible, but they were drifting toward where most people your age tend to go. That sentence kept echoing. Most people your age, if you follow the path to healthy aging, you already know our mission is to keep you from drifting with that crowd. This channel exists to help you prepare now in your 40s and 50s, so you can step into your 60s with vitality, clarity, mobility, and steady blood pressure. We are not patching problems only after they hurt. We are building piece by piece the body you will live in 10, 15, 20 years from now. When people hear the word prevention, they often imagine something complicated, expensive, and slow. The good news is that the foundation of your longevity begins in the most ordinary place in the world, your plate. After 40, insulin sensitivity tends to decline. That means the body reacts more strongly to sugar and starch hits that used to slip by unnoticed. Layer on top of that a gradual loss of muscle mass if you are not doing strength work, a drop in collagen, sleep shortened by screens and worry, and a chair-bound routine that steals mobility. Without noticing, we stack tiny decisions that nudge health in the opposite direction of what we want. The key is not perfection. The key is consistency. Consistency becomes easy when you know exactly what to put in your fridge, what to order at a restaurant, and what to cook on a busy weeknight. Today, I am going to deliver a complete food roadmap told as a story for you who are between 40 and 50 and want to arrive at 60 with healthy blood pressure, an alert mind, solid bones, and joints that obey. This is not a list of miracle promises. It is a map of choices that work for you every day. You'll understand why each food is here, how it speaks to your midlife metabolism, how to combine items to reduce glucose spikes, and how to use portions and frequency to see results without living in a joyless diet. By the end, you will have the confidence to open your kitchen and know exactly what to do. Let me start with a simple invitation. Picture a timeline that begins today and runs through the next decade. In one scenario, you keep habits that no longer serve you. In the other, you decide to turn the wheel by a single degree. Small moves at the start look insignificant, yet a single degree steers a ship to a different continent. What we put on the plate is that degree that changes course. The first turn happens when fatty fish step into the spotlight. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring. They concentrate the kinds of fats your brain and blood vessels recognize as repair material. EPA helps tune the inflammatory response. DHA becomes part of the very membranes of your neurons and supports the elasticity of the endothelium, the thin layer lining every artery you own. When you include 2 to 3 servings a week, you are not just eating fish. You are writing a note to your future self in his or her early 60s, telling them you cared about how blood would flow. You are sending a message to your blood pressure that it can stay in the green without fighting you. If your routine or budget makes fresh fish hard to find, a high-quality fish oil with purity certification can help, but keep aiming to chew actual fish with its fibers, flavor, and satiety that only whole food delivers. On the same table sits the avocado, a quiet ally with the texture of a childhood dessert. It carries stable monounsaturated fats, fiber that slows glucose rise, and potassium, a mineral that plays in the fine-tuning of blood pressure. When you place half an avocado in your lunch salad or layer a soft scramble over slices at breakfast, you are not just enjoying the creaminess. You are telling your body that a sugar spike is not required. You are helping your artery relax from within, like loosening a belt after a long day, and you are setting the scene for fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K to be absorbed with real competence. After 40, it is not enough to eat better. You must absorb better. Small changes like this change outcomes. The cruciferous family enters like a specialized cleanup crew and antioxidant defense. Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, Brussels, sprouts, arugula. They bring compounds your liver recognizes as tools to metabolize hormones and package waste for exit. For women crossing peri and postmenopause, that support is gold. For men who want to protect prostate health, it matters too. For everyone, it means turning down the background inflammatory noise that tends to grow silently with age. Crucifers also offer fiber that feeds the microbiome, the community of microscopic life in your gut that shapes immunity, mood, metabolism, and satiety signaling. What does this look like on a real plate? A generous portion of broccoli or cauliflower sautéed in olive oil with garlic alongside fish, a raw kale salad massaged with lemon, a crisp purple cabbage slaw for color and crunch. Vary the preparation. Mix raw and cooked. Give them space. Whole eggs of good quality open the next chapter. A chapter many avoided out of fear. The right eggs, from well-raised hens, deliver complete protein, choline for the brain, lutein and zeaxanthin that guard vision, and a package of fat-soluble vitamins sitting in the yolk. In midlife language, that means building and maintaining lean mass, supporting cognition, and caring for eye health. When you eat 2 eggs on one day and skip them the next, you spread that nutrient package out without excess. It is a kind of rhythm that cooperates with your schedule and your budget. If you suspect allergy or have specific restrictions, talk with your professional. For most people, eggs are a versatile, powerful tool. Bone broth appears as a gesture of care that feels like a grandmother-esque recipe and still fits modern connective tissue science. Slowly simmered, it releases collagen, gelatin, glycine, and proline. In plain words, it delivers construction material for cartilage, tendons, skin, and the lining of the gut. Many people who lift weights and walk notice their joints thank them when a mug of broth appears at night or becomes the base for a simple weekday soup. There is no magic in it. There is coherence. You bring general inflammation down, provide parts for the body to repair, and build a more comfortable environment for movement. When the sweet tooth calls, berries step in as sweetness that does not sabotage the plan. Blackberries and raspberries lead because of their fiber and lower sugar content. Strawberries and blueberries can appear as well with a bit more restraint. Mix them with plain full-fat yogurt at breakfast, with unsweetened Greek yogurt in the afternoon. Scatter seeds on top to lift nutrient density and create lasting satiety. These fruits carry polyphenols and anthocyanins that help protect aging brains and vessels that must stay flexible. This is not just a dessert, it is a strategy that delivers pleasure and direction at the same time. Nuts and seeds are perfect company when you want quality fat and key minerals back on track. A small handful of almonds, pecans, or macadamias does the job without steamrolling your glucose. Chia and flax bring fibers that form a gel in the intestine and slow sugar entry into the blood while providing a plant form of omega-3 that, in routine use, improves the body's overall fat balance. Here is a gentle caution about Brazil nuts. They are rich in selenium, a mineral that supports the body's antioxidant systems. But the concentration is so high that 1 nut a day, to at most, sits in the zone of benefit. A big handful is overkill. You do not need to live with a calculator. You only need to understand a food's strengths well enough to use them for your goal. If chalk has always been your companion, it does not need to become a villain. It needs a wardrobe change. The more cocoa, the more flavonoids that support endothelial function and interact with nitric oxide production, the compound that helps dilate blood vessels. Bars with 85% cocoa or higher deliver those benefits without drowning you in sugar. 2 or 3 squares after lunch or dinner satisfy the craving, honor the habit, and keep the root. At first, your palate may resist. Within a few weeks, as daily sugar intake drops, cocoa's flavor shines in a different way. Fermented vegetables show up as a modest side that changes entire scenes. Sauerkraut, kimchi, naturally fermented pickles. They bring live bacteria that raise the diversity of your microbiome. With age, with a history of antibiotics, with the rush of modern life, that diversity drops. When it drops, nutrient absorption worsens, immune vigophages, mood swings more easily. 1 or 2 spoonfuls beside your main meal create a subtle and powerful push. If you have never eaten them, start small. The gut loves novelty, but it prefers to meet novelty gently. The last star in our main cast is liver from well-raised animals. It is a concentrated source of highly bioavailable iron, B vitamins that sustain energy and red blood cell formation, and vitamin A in the form your body uses. If the flavor pushes you away, dehydrated versions in capsules are widely available and let you harvest the benefits. A small portion once a week closes micronutrient gaps that modern life leaves open. You do not need to transform your kitchen into an organ meat workshop. You only need to recognize that certain nutrients arrive in a uniquely effective dose and format here. Up to this point, you can build a very real week of eating. Monday brings salmon with sautéed broccoli and a crisp cabbage salad. Tuesday offers a kale and tomato omelette at lunch and bone broth at night, warming the house. Wednesday puts sardines on the grill and a salad of arugula with avocado. Thursday turns into a shredded chicken soup built on bone broth and a dessert of raspberries with 2 squares of dark chocolate. Friday circles back to fish or pears, a lean cut with roasted cauliflower and a bright spoonful of kimchi. The weekend carries conscious freedom, seeds scattered over yogurt, a handful of nuts that fits in your palm, and a small portion of liver that closes nutrient gaps. This is not rigidity. This is competence applied to your future. Food does not live alone. After 40, those who preserve muscle, preserve metabolic health. You will hear this truth on our channel often. 2 to 3 strength sessions a week. Tell your body it is worth maintaining lean mass. Muscle burns glucose gracefully, protects joints, improves balance, and makes staircases shorter. Brisk walks, stitch the days together and give your heart what it likes. Simple mobility keeps range of motion alive. This is not about turning yourself into an athlete. It is about telling your body it is still being used and therefore will be cared for. Sleep and stress decide a big share of the game. Short nights are not trophies of productivity. They are a quiet push in the wrong direction. Choose a time to lie down. Darken the room. Reduce screens at night. Adopt a simple wind-down ritual with deep breathing, a non-caffeinated tea, or a light book. Step into morning sunlight for a few minutes when you wake. These gestures refine your inner clock and make appetite work in your favor. Stress will not disappear, but it can be educated. Real pauses during the day, brief anchors of presence, short walks outdoors, a good conversation that is not about a problem, all help dial anxiety down. With the volume lower, it becomes much easier to keep eating the way you decided to eat. Now let us bring the camera closer and talk about something few like to face, but that changes the destiny of your blood pressure glycemic load. After 40, controlling glucose spikes is a superpower. Instead of demonizing all carbohydrates, look at the composition of the entire plate. When a starch appears, use a smaller portion and always pair it with protein, healthy fat, and fiber. Sweet potato belongs beside sardines and salad. A modest amount of brown rice makes sense next to salmon and broccoli. Vegetables cooked al dente keep texture and reduce the hit to glucose. If bread and pasta seem to flip a switch that makes you endlessly hungry, try for 6 weeks without them. This is not punishment. It is an experiment that reveals what happens when your body stops riding the sugar roller coaster. At the end of that period, reintroduce and observe honestly. Your body will tell the story you need to hear. Hydration is the most underestimated gesture of adult life. With packed schedules, we confuse thirst with hunger, drag around fatigue that plain water would fix, and fail to give the hardened vessels the medium they work best in. Keep a bottle nearby. Drink throughout the day. Remember that minerals like potassium and magnesium arrive on your plate to help with muscle contraction and vascular relaxation. Avocado, leafy greens, seeds, fish, and properly prepared legumes join the chorus. You might wonder where to start with so many moving parts. Here's a path for the next 4 weeks that suits real life. In week 1, choose to now put fatty fish on the menu twice and include cruciferous vegetables every day. You stop it there. In week 2, add a daily handful of nuts or seeds and trade desert for berries with dark chocolate. In week 3, bring in 2 brief strength sessions and a daily 15 to 20 minute walk. In week 4, protect sleep with a consistent bedtime and your wind down ritual. At 30 days, you'll feel different energy, calmer, hunger, a more honest waistline, and a clearer mind. At 3 months, your labs start to change. At 12 months, the style becomes your normal. When 60 arrives, you will recognize it as a continuation of your choice, not as a sharp curve you failed to see. Someone will say there is no time. 10 minutes count. Someone will say they dislike exercise. Walking with music counts. Dancing at home counts. Climbing stairs counts. Gardening counts. The body does not demand medals. It asks for consistent signals. Someone will say healthy food is boring. Put the fork in your hand. Pull the spices onto the counter. Light your curiosity. Olive oil, garlic, onion, lemon, herbs, spices. The world of flavor returns when your mouth unlearns the easy sugar. Someone will say it is too late. The next 10 years will pass anyway. They can pass in your favor. Before I close, I want to reinforce something important. This content is educational. It does not replace conversations with your physician or registered dietitian, especially if you have a diagnosis, take medications, or need precise adjustments. Path to Healthy Aging believes in prevention with responsibility. Use what you learned here as a base. Bring your questions to your clinic appointments and build a plan tailored to your story and your genetics. If you made it here, you have already done more for yourself than most people do in a year. Now, turn intention into action. Open your calendar and write down the 2 actions for this week. Buy the fish, buy the crucifers. Keep a jar of seeds on the counter. Store frozen berries so you do not depend on the season. Choose a dark chocolate bar with 85% cocoa. Simmer bone broth on the weekend. Schedule 2 strength sessions. Switch off the screen half an hour earlier tonight. The steps are small. They add up. They change the map. Path to Healthy Aging is here to walk beside you through this decisive decade. We speak to people who want to reach later life with health, not to those who gave up before starting. If this video gave you clarity and a plan, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share it with someone who needs this kind push. Tell us in the comments which food you will prioritize this week and how you plan to organize your fridge so the right choice becomes the easy one. In upcoming episodes, we will assemble low glycemic plates for different times of day, design a smart beginner strength plan, and show how small changes in sleep can transform tomorrow. Healthy aging does not happen by accident. It happens when you decide. Today was the first step. Tomorrow, we continue